Mission Hope, inspirational stories of faith and triumph. Life's many upheavals, sharp curves, twists and turns, the challenging circumstances coming right at you are nonstop. The inner wars within are outside your control and feel overwhelming. You feel alone, and the seemingly endless battles rage on. You feel like you have lost all hope and faith, questioning, why me? Why now? How can I handle another blow? The answers you're seeking are in this collection of 20 uplifting stories in this book. Within its golden pages, from the deep confines of their hearts and souls, these extraordinary authors have opened up and are here to assist you in navigating the deep, daunting, and dark waters that you are facing. Each story is unique in its experience, but similar in the fact that through everything presented to them in life, these authors have found the way back to success, peace, and joy through hope and faith. These authors have turned tragedy into tranquility once again. Now, they are here to empower you to shift from what once was fear and failure into the future of your dreams. They offer as a gift to you the freedom to choose your destiny. Now, it's time to turn the key and walk through the door. Hear from the authors themselves as they share their journey and story with you here on Living the Next Chapter.
Okay, everyone, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter. I have a returning guest, which always makes me happy. Karen is back on the podcast. We're going to be talking about her new chapter in the next book from our great friend Shar Murphy. And we're going to be talking about Mission Hope, but this is the one about faith. And we're excited to have Karen Ortega back on the podcast. Karen, it's great to see you. Welcome back to Living the Next Chapter.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
It's so cool to have guests come back. I feel privileged and honored to have you back again. We were chatting on book 1 about Mission Hope, and you shared an amazing story with us about your backstory and where you got to today from all the things that have happened in the past. And I was quite inspired to have you on the show, and it's always great to have you back. Would love to get an update. What's new with you from the last time we chatted?
Well, what's new is that I have wrote another book with Shar, the Mission Faith, and I have learned through that book, there's a different story, a little different storyline, but I have learned through this next chapter that there's a lot of forgiveness that has to go into letting go of the past. And so this story kind of goes from the first story was about what I had to endure and deal with, the abuse and what have you. And then the second story is more about me allowing forgiveness to come in and take hold and freeing me from the backstory of my life.
Is it hard as a new author to sit down and write out your thoughts and share them with the world? Is that a difficult process for you at all?
No, it just seems to come right out of my mind onto the paper. Just flows out.
Because I think that, it's when you start sharing your story, though, when it feels a little bit like, how much should I share? How much should I not share?
Yes. Now that is a little different. That one would be, it does flow right on out, but I have to really kind of check myself to say, how much do I want to, because you don't want to name names usually. You don't want to throw a whole lot of intimate details into the story. So there was sometimes when I would write the thing out and I have to change a little bit of it to make it a little bit more, where it's doable for people to read and not feel like they're going to just bawl their eyes out or be upset at what happened in the people in the story. So, so I had to change a lot about that sometimes.
And the chance again to work with Shar Murphy, the amazing Shar Murphy. Tell me a little bit more about your relationship with Shar. How has it grown from the first book you've written with her and the first chapter to today?
Well, I mean, it's just, I was thrilled that she asked me to go ahead and write the chapter for the second book. And we're still going strong. We're still in the Mission Hope group, and we still are talking to each other and doing all the things we do. And it's been an amazing experience to be working with Shar. And I mean, she is one of the most empowering women that I know. And when you're with her, you feel completely empowered and completely, just feel like you could like touch the sky.
And we did this, I think, in the first time you were on the podcast, but Shar is going to listen to this episode for sure. We know Shar is going to do that. But I would love to give you an opportunity. If I kind of got out of the way for a moment and it was just you and Shar, what would you say to Shar? Because she's going to hear this. But what's your message to Shar from you directly to Shar? I'm not here. What would you like to say to Shar?
Well, Char Murphy, I love you. And I am so grateful that you asked me to start the first book, and even more grateful that you asked me to do the second. And I think it was this amazing opportunity for me coming from where I was and where I am now. And you have helped inspire me to be a bigger person and a better person. And I love you for that.
I love that you said a bigger person. Can you expand on a bigger person? I think that's interesting.
I feel like that I just feel like I wasn't really where I needed to be in terms of, I feel like maybe I was a little bit on the immature side as a full grown woman. And I'm very, very much an emotional, deeply sensitive and emotional person. Yeah. And I am learning as I've been doing this, and like Shar, she would even talk to me about some of the issues I was having and would tell me what I should do. And so with the advice of older women who have kind of already been through this or been through something similar, they help propel you up. And so I started seeing, okay, I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be this stronger person, where instead of maybe getting really upset and being highly upset that maybe I should have just walked away, or maybe I should just not say anything, or maybe I should just send them love and walk away that way. But it just made me feel like I became a bigger person as far as inside. I'm no longer as upset and volatile, I guess I could say. Maybe that's not the best word to use, but something, it just makes me feel a little more expanded as a person.
There's a reason why great people come into our life, like Shar, who can give us insight, can help us grow. Yeah. They just see the world differently for us, and they see something different in us that we don't see in ourselves.
Exactly.
That's what I love, right? And I see that in Shar. She brings things out of people that they're like, I didn't even know that was in me.
Mm-hmm. And she's sharp, right? Too. She'll like snap it. She'll tell you, Karen, no. So, yeah.
So what's interesting, though, is as you learn from Shar, people then start learning from you, because you're now in a different spot than when we met first. For the first book, you're in a different spot yourself. And now you have the opportunity to do what Shar has done for you. You can now do that for someone that is maybe struggling in areas that you can speak to. Yeah. And that's interesting as well.
It is. And that inspires me as well. I do have a bevy of women around me that are older than me that have helped me and helped me see that, the stuff that I may have done in the past that I didn't know better than to do, that they've showed me that, no, this isn't the way you do it. You want to do it this way, So it was a huge help, because I wasn't modeled that as a child. My mom was very, she was real emotional too. So I didn't have a model to know how do you act when somebody's really upset you or said something to you that's really mean, or how are you supposed to act when that happens. So that's when I say to a bigger person, is that it is teaching me how I'm supposed to be as opposed to how I was, because that's what I was modeled growing up, was a very emotional, sensitive mother that was sometimes she could be kind of chaotic herself. And so I had to learn to not be that. It's okay to be emotional and it's okay to be sensitive. You have to have that. But in terms of turmoil, and that you have to learn how to walk away or how to handle it in a different way.
Yeah. How to turn that into your superpower.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. Something that could be a limitation could also be a strength.
Yes. And I looked at it as a limitation because, of course, people I was with told me it was a limitation. And I was like, I thought it was a pretty strong strength to be able to speak your mind or say what you feel, or, and I still think it is. But I think that at some point you want to move away from any drama or any chaos that somebody's bringing to you, and you're reflecting it. So you need to move away from that and learn to either walk away, handle it differently, to be a better you.
Nice. That's good. Talk a little bit about your chapter then. What are we going to find when we come to your chapter? What's in there for us as a reader?
Well, in this chapter, I mostly went down the road of what I learned from the last chapter in the last book, Mission Hope, was that after all of the fire had been put out and all of the everything that I laid out in the pages was just, my descent, kind of what I would call my descent into hell, with sometimes with people that didn't have my best interests at heart. And in this chapter, I decided that in between that book and this book, I had come to the terms that I realized that people are there to help you. And that if I continue to go down the road of being bitter and really mad about it, it's just going to keep me in place and I can't move forward. I can't move up. I can't move out. I can't expand. I can't anything. So I decided that I needed to find a better way. And this thing started to come to me. I can sometimes hear things. And it was just a matter of me in this chapter getting down to actual reflecting on myself and what has happened, and then saying, okay, enough's enough. Now what do I do? And so the forgiveness comes into play here in this chapter about how people come into your life as mad as you are and as hard as they can be on you. They're here to help you. And they literally did. Up with everything that happened, I literally learned independence. I learned self-empowerment, the power of choice, confidence. There's so much that I learned. Even though it still kind of hurts me a little bit, it taught me to be okay alone. It taught me to be that I was okay with myself. I can buy my own flowers. I can write my name in the sand.
There you go.
So and it just totally, this whole story was just me letting go of that, of them, of the situation, of what happened, and the cycles, and it really helped me grow.
So I know Shar was one of those people for you that could come in and help you in that way. But who else comes to mind that was part of the journey of writing this chapter? Who else was there for you to help you see this?
Well, I also have a friend named Nancy who is instrumental, and she's a powerhouse herself. She's just a powerhouse lady. She's a little older than me, and she was very helpful with that. And there's several other women that I know that I never knew before, but they're in my life now. And it's a challenge to still hook up with them because I'm not still quite in the place where I want to go move completely towards them yet. And I'm still growing in myself and learning self-confidence in that. And so, but they just have an energy about them that they just know what they want and what they're doing. And they'll bring that to me when I talk to them and say, okay, Karen, this is what we're going to do. And it was just really, it was something I could look and reflect on because I could see from their standpoint where they were coming from, and they saw where I was coming from. And they were very loving towards me about the whole thing. And it wasn't, I didn't feel at all like an outcast with them. They were very just forthcoming about how they felt in the situation and with me. And it was just, super empowering.
I think the one thing that I've seen, Karen, from my perspective is there's people in my life that fill my cup. They're just amazing people. And every time I'm with them, I feel better. I feel like I can do more. But the one thing I know is that I don't do a good job of is letting them know that they do that for me. Mm-hmm. I just kind of assume that they know, right?
Yeah.
How important is it for you to tell these people who help you that you really made an impact on me? You, like you did for Shar, just as we did at the beginning of the mm-hmm. podcast. You, Shar, really mean this to me, and this is why I love working with you. I love what you do in my life. And speaking the words, because I think a lot of people need to hear the impact that they have on us, that they might be unaware of. Yeah. And how much we appreciate them. Have you had the opportunity to kind of reach out to these people? And
not in that way. Now that you say that, that is definitely something that is another aspect of me that I'm literally working towards doing. I'm literally a positive person for the most part. And that is something that I will take into consideration and probably do after this phone call, after this message, after this interview. So.
Right. I think it's just, there's, in our family, we've had loss in the past, and what happens, what seems to happen is everybody comes out of the woodwork. Everyone kind of gathers together when there's loss and we lose someone special. And we all gather around and we all talk about how amazing that person was when they were with us. But I feel like I'm kind of on a mission of just raising this question with everyone is, wouldn't it be great if we were able to have that conversation with them while they're here?
Yeah.
And tell them, listen, my life was headed this way. You came in my life and now it's headed this way. And I wouldn't be on this path if it wasn't for you. And I want you to know how important you are as a person to me and how your life matters. And I'm so happy and blessed to have you in my life. And let these people know that they really, truly matter to us. And I think if we could all have that attitude, I guess that attitude of gratitude, is that how you want to say it? But just showing and demonstrating to people how meaningful they are, I think that by doing that, I think it just unlocks a piece of us that seems to be a little bit that we haven't really tapped into yet. Just by showing our gratitude to people. What do you think of that?
That is huge because as you said that, Shar came to mind and I thought I have really never told her that I am where I am now. I am no longer in a relationship that feels abusive. I'm no longer in that dynamic of the people that were being abusive. I unhitched from that. And part of it was because of Shar in this book. And everything that was started coming towards me. And it's like everything has changed.
Right.
Now I'm just on that healing journey of, letting go of that stuff and being, coming into myself and calling all my bits and pieces back. And if it wasn't for Shar, I would still probably be where I was and not here doing what I'm doing now with you.
And then, and just to assume that Shar knows that. Just to assume that, right? I would default to that where I'm like, well, Shar has to know that she's a great person and she's helped me. But to hear the words, that's a different thing because now they're out there in the world and we want people to know that these important people around us make us better people. So yes. I just think everybody listening, this is something everybody can do even today or this week is to reach out to those people who we assume have an impact on us, but say the words and let them know exactly how our life is different because of them. So I think we're on the right path. I like that.
Yeah. And I have to say too, that I'm not going to give kudos to abuse or anything, but even the people that were in my life that were doing some of the psychological abuse literally helped me. If you look at it on a deeper scale, they literally helped me step by step get even to where I am now. Now, I would never go back into it, but I'm just saying that there was things they did that wasn't always on the abuse scale, but there was things they did too that helped me get to where I am right now too. So, I mean, it is really, it's a huge honor to know that little Karen a few years ago was really down low, and little Karen now is sitting up pretty high right now. And
I would say big Karen.
Yeah, it was a little Karen.
Because you're getting bigger and bigger. Right? Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So, yeah. And, to forgive them for what happened, it's still a process for me, but it's getting easier and easier day by day. And it just feels like, as I understand that people are always there to help you, even in the meanness, there's something they're trying to teach you. And I'm learning that. And I'm learning that, they were there to push me out of being afraid and get on my own and do my own thing and stand on my own 2 feet and do what I needed to do. And this, like I said, if they didn't do what they did too, I would not be sitting here talking to you either. I would still be sitting in that mess and not be working through it.
And that's a lonely place as well.
It is a very lonely place.
Right. Because you don't know who to trust. You don't know who has your best interest at heart. And you're afraid to get hurt again. And
you just don't know where you stand. That was the big thing. I just didn't know where I stood. And so, yeah. And now I know where I stand because I'm here and they're not. And I'm chucking along and,
Yeah. I can, there's a confidence level with you, Karen, talking to you today that You were definitely confident and very in touch with yourself when we met the first time, but I'm seeing even more of that displayed. A bigger Karen.
That's good. I'm glad you see it
When we
because
talked today.
I'm
Yeah.
feeling it. I'm feeling it, and it's rising. It's definitely rising, and I hope that whatever message that anybody that hears this podcast or anything takes from that, I didn't come from a whole lot. My family was poor, and there was nothing spectacular about my family as far as, we didn't come from expensive blood, so we have Viking and Native American blood in us. And I think that's one of the sole reasons that I kept going, because I think by now anybody else might have, kicked in the bucket and said, see ya,
Yeah.
So I always have hope. Always, even after the dust settles, I always feel like I always have hope in me. And I'm not sure where that comes from, but it's just there.
So for the person listening, Karen, that's not where you're at yet, but they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Any words of wisdom to them from your perspective to encourage them to keep moving forward?
Yeah, don't give up and keep looking for the better side of things, because it will come. It's just a matter of getting out of your own way. Like you said, getting out of your own way, that's huge for me, because I really, really get in my way a lot. I overthink everything and all that stuff. So it's just a matter of just keep going. Don't give in. Don't throw in the towel. Just keep going, and you'll find it. It's there. That pot of gold is there.
Even in the darkest days.
Even in the darkest days, yes. And I have had my share of really dark days. My family is probably my biggest supporter right now, getting me through some of this stuff, and some of the stuff that still goes through my mind. It's it's a process when you've been through psychological abuse. It doesn't just go away overnight. It takes time,
right.
Yeah.
And
so I still continue to work towards that. And I really feel like that there's going to come a day when I'm going to wake up and the sun's going to be shining, and I'm really going to notice it. And I think anybody listening to this, take the same advice. Keep going. When you wake up one day, you're going to notice the sun shining too.
Karen, you're on fire. I love this. This is great. You're speaking directly to us. And I'm anticipating someone listening to this would be like, I'm inspired. I want to read your chapter. I want to know more about you. To that end, Karen, where do people connect with you about your chapter, about your story? Where are you most active so people can connect with you?
Well, my email address is usangel@0808@yahoo.com. That's about all the places you can connect with me right now. So,
good.
But can I say one more thing? I'm going to say this. I don't know if I said it in the last podcast, but years ago, when I was on my spiritual journey, I used to get really upset because I would see like Gabby Bernstein and all the bigger name spiritual leaders where they were going to Bali and they were going places and doing things and healing themselves and all that. And I used to get so upset about that because I'm like, I'm not sitting on a gold mine, I don't even have money for a plane ticket to get to Bali, And I remember sitting there thinking how upset I was if only I had a ton of money where I could go do that. And a voice in my head said, you don't need that. You have everything you need inside of you. And I said, what? And I was like, what? So what I realized was that I didn't need that. I literally started healing from where I was on my couch. And I've been healing ever since. And I didn't need Bali to do it. I did not need to go to Bali to do that. So anybody that thinks they have to have a ton of money to go heal, you do not. You don't.
Yeah.
So if you're poor, it's okay. You can heal from being poor, right on your couch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that whole thing about having all the money to get that's that shouldn't stand in the way of your healing.
Nope. But it did for a while for me because I was just in a victim pity party thing. But once you get out of that and realize, the voice said, no, you don't need that. You don't. So I believe that because that was my inner spirit or whatever telling me this. And literally that's exactly what I've been doing. And I never went to Bali. I've never been I've been to Missouri and Florida. That's it. I haven't been anywhere else. So if I can do it, you all can do it. Promise.
Awesome. And that's a great place to end off, Karen. I love that.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that. That is amazing. And we want everyone to go buy the book, help support Shar and all the great authors a part of the next book. And Karen, I it's great to see you again. It's great to have you on the podcast and reconnect. And again, I'm seeing a bigger Karen, and I think that is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I loved it.
It's amazing. So everyone, please go check out the show notes. All the information about Karen's chapter in the new book and connecting with Karen as well will all be included. And again, Shar Murphy, we love you. Thank you for making this all happen for us.
Thank you, Shar.
Hey, just jumping on here at the end. Thank you so much for checking out this episode, Living the Next Chapter, talking about Mission Hope Volume 2. You definitely want to pick up a copy of this book. Head over to ourmissionhope.com, missionhope.com. All the information in the show notes. Get a copy of this book. Get one for yourself. Get one for your best friend. And let's encourage these authors as they write and share their stories with us. If you want to connect with me, my name is Dave. livingthenextchapter.com. livingthenextchapter.com. I would love to have you reach out through the website. Let me know what you think of this episode, what you think of the podcast. Let's encourage our fellow authors and let's do something great. Thank you for being here on the podcast. Again, it's the second book from our great friend Shar Murphy, Mission Hope, Inspirational Stories of Faith and Triumph at ourmissionhope.com. Thanks for being here. Catch you on the next one.
Ready to take your story to the next level? It's time to get off the sidelines and share your story. Join us at Creative Con, where you'll learn the actionable steps from experts and doers to turn your dreams into reality. Whether you're an aspiring podcaster, a seasoned pro, new or published author, speaker, creative, visionary, or dreamer crafting your message, this is your moment to shine. Our panels, workshops, keynotes, and networking opportunities will help you overcome the roadblocks, effectively articulate your message, and share your message to the masses. Discover how to position yourself as an industry leader by leveraging podcasting, publishing, production, and promotions. For those seeking purpose beyond the corporate grind, we'll ignite your passions and guide you to a more fulfilling path. If you've ever thought about breaking free from the 9-to-5 routine and taking control of your destiny, we'll show you how. Authors, you'll learn to expand your horizons and broaden your reach. Creative Con is where you'll find confidence, support, and a clear roadmap to success. If you've ever doubted yourself, this is your chance to step out of your comfort zone and make your creative dreams a reality. Secure your Creative Con tickets now for our virtual December 2nd event and our 2-day live event February 17th to 18th at creativecon.com. That's creativecon.com. Creative with an 8. The future is yours. Speak it, write it, live it.